Hey, Michaela, would you do me a favor and just go to AZREIA YouTube page and see if it's streaming?
What do you say?
If you can go to AZREIA YouTube page and just see if
Uh-huh.
it's streaming.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, how's everybody doing?
Good, good.
Good to hear. All right, I'm gonna get my screen up. Um, oh, perfect. Let's get here. All right, perfect. So this is AZREIA's monthly beginners group. This is catered towards 5 deals or less. Usually is kind of what we focus on. People that have done 5 transactions or less. Um, but anyone could come, right? So it's December. Things July and December for some reason slow down. Less people come. So you have a intimate group here where we can ask a lot of questions and get you the information you need so you could take it and make something happen, right? So Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, I'm going to be using this too.
Okay.
So, Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, we've been around for 21 years, representing real estate investors all throughout the state of Arizona. I know you've been here. Have you guys been here before? You look familiar.
Maybe once.
Maybe once?
One of her classes.
Oh, okay. Call-a-thon, awesome. All right.
This is my first time.
First time here?
Yep.
All right, cool. So usually I just take a few minutes, I just go over a couple slides just so you guys get you warmed up to AZREIA. Like I said, our mission here at AZREIA is to support real estate investors throughout the state by providing information, education, support, and networking opportunities. Our disclaimer here is you're going to meet a lot of people. You're always going to learn a lot of new information. So you're going to get invited to other events, other transactions. So just like when we're buying real estate, we always say do your own due diligence. As an AZREIA member, we have national and local benefits and discounts. So we probably have well over 50 vendors that provide services to real estate investors that you can use. So mainly here, you can see Rent Perfect. They do like property management type background checks. We have call fires like marketing, foreclosure.com is like leads, constant contact is like email marketing. Most importantly, which I'll go over, is our Home Depot relationship. So locally, this is your real estate investing team. You can't invest in real estate yourself, so you're going to need a team to support you. So we have Zona Law, eviction attorneys, People's Mortgage, lenders, Boomerang, hard money lender, Great American Title, investor-friendly title companies, air conditioner, pest control, anything you need for real estate investing, we have someone for you to use if you'd like. So if you use them, there's discounts and benefits. However, even if you don't use them, they'll answer your questions and support you and help you out. Our AZREIA Advantage is a digital newsletter. It comes out on the first of every month. It's written by our business associates that you just saw. So in their respective areas, they'll write an article as to what they see, what's going on in that month, so you can make the right decisions within your business. Like Derek Karchner of Gila Insurance said, insurance went up 37% this year for your policies in Arizona. So that's something to keep in mind when you're taking care of your rents and you're running your numbers and buying properties, right? Home Depot, if you are an AZREIA member, you get a discount code that you hook up to your Home Depot Pro account, which will give you 2% cash back twice a year on everything you spend. So if you're flipping properties, turning rental properties, this is going to be huge because you get like 20% off paints, you get appliance discounts, cabinet discounts, bidding room discounts. So it all adds up. The Home Depot Pro will track all your spending, and then you'll get a gift card or a check twice a year. Missed this. The AZREIA show, so it's all about real estate investing. So we interview members, local real estate investors, national real estate investors, once again, real estate service providers. We're well over 120 episodes on the podcast. We're on all podcast platforms and YouTube. And up on the second Monday of every month and the second Tuesday of every month, we do what's called our monthly meeting. So we have a Phoenix meeting and a Tucson meeting. So we always have market information. So we have like a market update for you to listen to, usually Tina Tambor. And then you have networking, trade show, and then we have education panel. So it's either training or it's an expert panel of interview questions. So January is what we call Wholesale January. This is the third year we've been doing it. It's always a packed house. And we got some heavy hitters coming in on stage for us this January. So Steve Tring is an expert sales trainer. Ramon Martinez, he's He has a great disposition company, one of the biggest ones in Arizona. Rich Wonder, he does novations. Anyone familiar with novations? That strategy? Heard it at all? He's great too. You can go follow him on Instagram. He's always doing live calls to homeowners. And Brent Daniels, he's all around great. Has a wholesale company. He's on pace to make $2 million this year, and he makes $25,000 in assignments. So they're all experts at what they do. You'll be able to meet them and ask them questions January 8th at venue 8600. This was what I was just saying. So standard Monday, second Monday, we do the Phoenix meeting in Scottsdale. We do the AZREIA Tucson meeting in Tucson. Then on the fourth Tuesday of every month, we do the Phoenix Real Estate Club, because we throw so much information at you on those two meetings. We want you to come into this room, and we have active investors. We do a lot more networking and a lot more discussions as to what everyone's seeing in the market and what kind of deals they're participating in. Also, as a member or a guest, we have 17 events a month that you can attend. So just go to azrea.org/calendar. We have fix and flip group, women's group, buy and hold group, beginners group, multifamily group. That's on Monday. And check it out. See what fits you. Is anyone here interested in wholesaling by chance?
Interested in what?
Wholesaling? No? Not yet? Don't know yet? No? Okay, cool. So we have a class coming up January 20th, so if change your mind by then. This might be better for you, the complete real estate investors bundle. We went back a couple years and took not all of them, but a majority of our in-person workshops that we recorded. So we have like a raising private capital workshop, creative financing workshop. We have a contract workshop, marketing, negotiation, how to invest out of state. So there's 16 hours of training videos from live workshops with all the documents and contracts included. So bundled it all together and made it $299 for members. And then Focus Law, which is one of our business associates. If you go to azrea.org/LLC, you can get an LLC with an operating agreement for $385. If you go on their website, it's $685. So it's written for investors, written by a real estate attorney. Cool. If you like what you see here at AZREIA, we'd always appreciate some feedback on Google. And that's all I have there. So before we jump into this, let's go around the room. Let me know who you are and what area of real estate you're interested in.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
So my name is Adriana. I'm new to real estate. So on Thursday, I closed on my first long-term property.
Awesome.
In Ohio. So I'm excited about starting this new chapter.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh,
My name
yep.
is Janelle. I'm actually a real estate agent also.
Awesome.
But I've always been interested in the investing side of things. Didn't really flip my second property, but my intent was, but I ended up staying there 2 years, so I wouldn't pay the capital gain.
Cool.
But I like that aspect of it, and so I'm trying to work my way towards getting more clients in the investor world, and so
Smart.
that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. Welcome.
And hopefully buying another property to flip.
Okay. So you're going towards the flip world
Yes.
and educating yourself to help your clients.
Yes.
Cool.
A little bit of everything, the more
Yeah.
I'm in it, the more I know, and the more, it becomes natural, but I also like to do it for myself.
Of course.
Have a project for myself and find, different resources of funding. I have lots of resources with my team and my mortgage, my broker, but I'm just looking to see what other resources for funding is out there. that's
Awesome.
Reliable.
Yep. There's a lot of options. Cool. Welcome.
Yeah, so I'm Joe. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I'm 19 years old. My mom started getting into investing in real estate, just like buying houses and then getting tenants in them. So I started going to some meetings with her back home in Wisconsin, and now I basically just want to do the same thing. I don't know a lot about real estate. I'm just here to learn as much as possible.
Awesome. Exploring.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So what we like to say is like horizontal in learning. So our subgroups, which are these groups, go to all of them, right? You know what I mean? So it's like you'll go to the multifamily group, you go to the buy and hold group, you go to the fix and flip group, you're going to the beginners group, play Cash Flow 101 board game,
Okay.
right? Go to the fire, all these different ones, and now you're going to get exposed to all these different types of strategies. And you're going to meet active investors in each one of those groups, and you could ask them questions. What do you think about it? And you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
start getting exposed to it, and then over time, you could just start finding your way and which way you want to go vertical.
Gotcha.
Cool?
Yeah.
Name and area of real estate you're interested in.
My name is Mark, and I'm interested in the wholesaling aspect.
Awesome. Cool. Welcome.
I'm Michaela. Hi, I checked everybody in. Since you mentioned that you're looking for an investment property possibly, I have, this one here, 10633 North 16th Avenue for $290, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, no HOA, ranch style. I can send you that information for that one later.
Yeah.
And then,
Is that one in Phoenix?
this is in Phoenix,
Okay.
yeah.
I think I have that same one too.
Oh, yeah, from, Magnolia,
Michael, yeah.
yeah.
Is it off market?
Yes, it is. And then, we have another one that, if you wanna get in on Friday, I can take you to that one. Now, this one is on market, but we have a connection with the seller, because initially the seller was ready to sell, but thought they would get more money on market, but they're not. So they're willing to now take another, cut.
Love it.
Yeah, so,
So they're just looking for, they're just
Okay.
looking at all their options. It's still on the market then?
it's still on the market, but because she wanted to sell faster, she's still willing to go ahead and take a cash offer. Cause she's not getting what she thought she would get on the market.
Where is that one?
Let me give you that one.
So I'm gonna keep going. I love the networking and deal making, of
For
course.
my own personals, if you have any in like the South Phoenix, Ahwatukee area, on the south of Baseline or on the other
Oh,
side.
we
of
had
the
something a couple of months, like a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. Well, as you guys can see, that's why we're here.
Yes.
That's why AZREIA is here. Whether that deal works out or not, at least they're talking, they're engaging. Michaela's gonna get to know what she likes more, start sending her better deals. They might do a deal, might make some money, help each other out, grow relationships. So that's exactly why AZREIA is here. So,
And also, we do have another one in Cleveland. I know you guys are looking for more turnkey, but if you know somebody who's looking for a duplex, 2 duplexes, I'm sorry, a duplex, 2 units, 2-1, 20,000. It does need work, but if you know somebody else, I don't know with your network in Cleveland.
Okay.
yeah. If, through your network, I don't know because who you met through your turnkey program, but if you know some people who are trying to flip, maybe you can offer it to them at 25, you take 5, and then.
You're making me a wholesaler
Yeah,
now. I
exactly.
see.
Why
All
not?
right.
You're teaching me a business. I love it.
that's why it's great.
20 for the duplex.
Interesting.
That
But
is
it
in
needs work.
Ohio.
Yeah.
It needs work.
It's in Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs work. It
It's
needs
a
work.
different world.
I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't need work.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
totally,
all right.
yeah, but even with that, okay, interesting.
It's,
But
it's
something
appealing.
to think about, and if you need like contractors, we have people out there who can help you get the property, get a contractor walk through it, have somebody take, we already have the pictures, property management, all that, we can help you with all that.
Cool. All right. So, I always go over this. There's 2 things I usually go over when we start the beginners group. So, everyone familiar with this, or maybe not?
I don't remember.
Don't remember?
Don't remember.
Don't remember. Okay, good. So this is the cash flow quadrant. It was created by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? So it's a great book. I definitely recommend reading it. So we have the E. Anyone want to take a shot as to what the E is?
Sold.
Employee, right? You trade your time for money, right? You go to work, get paid $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's it. S.
Small business.
Small business, self-employed, and what that is you wear every hat in the business, right? So you do the accounting, you're the janitor, you're the marketer, you're the sales, you do everything. You can't leave your business for a week, 30 days, and come back and it's still running smooth. Real estate agent, can you leave for a month and deals are closing, transactions constantly closing?
Technically, if you're that good, you can, but not
As
as,
a solo
yeah.
person with no team, right? So
Yeah.
B,
Big business.
there you go. You read the book.
Yes.
That's good. So big business architects a system that generates an outcome, which is revenue, right? So they put people, processes, and they put people in place to run those processes, like I said, and it'll generate revenue. So you always hear, oh, the CEO is on the golf course, they made $2 million, $10 million this year. Well, they put the system together and they're running it, right? So, and then you got the I. Anyone try that?
Investor.
All right, investor. All right, so investor, they take their money, they put it out, they want it to come back with more money. The I usually invests in the B most likely, right? So our goal here as beginners is to go from the E and the S to the B and the I. So how can you get there? And one of the ways you can do that is through real estate investing, okay? Oh, wrong way. So from here, really nothing else on the screen. I can go over basic stuff, so it's a smaller group, so however you guys want to take this, if you have specific questions that you came here for and you need answered, I could answer them, get you the answer, or get you the best resource possible. Always have topics I could talk about and teach you, so I'll just kind of let it open up for questions, if anyone has any, or I'll just start going.
I guess I'll go first, but like I was talking about that deal that you had with in Phoenix, and just looking for cash buyers. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, I guess the right way, if you wanna say that, but I'm kind of in that process of like looking for the cash buyers, and I don't know exactly how to do that.
Okay.
Do you think maybe like I would need to buy a prop stream or something like that, or do I have to use Zillow, Redfin?
All of the above.
something?
So the question is, how do I build a cash buyers list? Or get better at it, or keep growing it, right? So that's gonna be mainly for wholesaling, right? So one, you mentioned PropStream, so before that, you also said Zillow. So Zillow is great, I would go so when you comp properties, you see solds, right? And then when you see the solds, you see renovated ones, right? So I would look at the renovated properties that sold in the last 3 to 6 months, call the agent and say, hey, this looks like was this a fix and flip? I have a property in the area. Do you think you'd put that property in front of your client? Right? So now you got an agent that works with investors, potentially, right? So they may know other investors, or they'll show your property to the flipper. Or if you don't want to go that route, you could just say, this looks like a flip. You can go on tax records and see they just bought it like within the 6 months, right? And you could directly reach out to them.
Okay.
So that's just through Zillow, right? Just browsing. But you can, like on PropStream, you could either ask your agent, if you have an agent, you can say, hey, can I have all the cash sold in the last 6 months in certain areas, or whatever area you want. So then search them, skip trace them, whatever you gotta do, market to them. So pull all the cash solds. You can go to PropStream, you can do the same thing. Whenever you have a property locked up or you're trying to wholesale, just pull that property up and it'll show you the cash solds, all the cash buyers in that area. So there's multiple ways. Then there's also what we're doing here, right? It's going to every networking event you can and just meet the people, which is really the best, right? So, and then there's also working with other wholesalers. But you want to build your cash buyers list so you can assign it personally. So networking and just leveraging technology and getting cash sold would probably be your fastest bet. Have you done any of that?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I just heard about this deal not even a week ago, so.
So you heard about a deal.
Yeah, so it's a JV opportunity if I can find a cash buyer technically. So this is like my first ever like process of taking this forward, so.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to having conversations, I just didn't know who to talk to specifically, so.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing.
Like in Facebook groups and see, there's a lot
Yep.
of like investor groups, a lot of, and just in the area, and just put like the deal, say, hey, this is what I have, this is how much we can make, and see if the deal itself attracts that cash buyer. Just through networking, like I say, Facebook Marketplace, there's a lot of groups that are just specific for what you're looking for. I see that there's a lot of groups for like creative financial, like getting over their mortgage. There's a lot of people that is looking in those groups too.
Okay.
So maybe get active in that part of social media too.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, great point. So going to those groups and just marketing yourself, just saying, I'm looking for cash buyers. I'm good at finding off-market deals that need some work and have some profit margin on it. If you're looking to buy one, whether you're a flipper, you guys be on social media, anything you do, just understand, wholesaling is all about marketing. So you gotta let people know what you're doing as well. So, and like, I don't know if you're here yet, she just bought a property in Cleveland. I don't know if you're working that area, but you get what I'm saying, it's like you never know who's
Yeah.
doing what, right?
Yeah.
So she's looking for a flip, right? He's trying to, your mom works as a flipper or
She
Or is it-
buys houses and then rents them out.
and rents them out? So everyone in here has access to buying property right now.
Yeah.
Right, you get what I'm saying? So it's like just getting in these rooms here at AZREIA or any other event, right? And just getting out there and just getting business cards. Simple as that. I don't think that's a problem. And does everyone know what he meant when he says, I have a JV opportunity? So basically, another wholesaler says, I have a contract on a property. If you bring a buyer to it, you can get paid. So meaning, and maybe there's different ways you can do that. So if the wholesaler is like, I want 100,000 for this property, he would have to try to sell at 105 if he wants to get paid. I'm assuming that's the situation you're in,
Yeah.
right?
So you have the wholesaler getting cut, you have him getting cut, then you have the cash buyer.
Yep. Very common.
And that goes, it all comes from the cash buyer.
Yep, the cash buyer will come through. So first wholesaler the homeowner wants 95, first wholesaler wants 100, he wants 105, the cash buyer brings in 105, everyone gets their cut.
I hear about it all the time, but like, my world, it's either cash or, actual agents, so
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot about that, but it's like most people just kind of go straight, to the owner.
Yeah, that was something that I didn't think I was actually gonna start with as an opportunity, so I saw this as an opportunity for me, and I'm just here to see if it's gonna work out in the first deal, so.
So I'm just gonna try to talk about what he's talking about, so hopefully maybe all of you can understand it at some point, because if you're buying a rental or you're buying a flip, whatever it may be, you guys are gonna get these situations, right? Either A, when you close on it, you're gonna see all these assignment fees on there, and some people get mad. Like, I don't think, if you bought the property, you're like, wow, I like 105, those numbers work, I did my due diligence, this is a deal. But sometimes flippers would get to the assignment, they're like, oh my God, all these good people, they get mad because everyone got paid, and then there's like 40 grand in there, and they think they could have got it cheaper. But they may have, they negotiated, right? But you may see that, or you're trying to get information, you're calling him, he's like, let me ask my partner. It's not really his partner. And then you're like, calls the other wholesaler, and the wholesaler calls the other wholesaler, and it might be hard for you to get the info you want to make a quick decision if you need it, right? So that's one thing about being in the middle. I like to control things if I can in a deal, so I prefer to have the contract with the homeowner. So I would suggest when you're ready to go get the deal, Otherwise, you're gonna tell these 3 buyers right here, you got a deal, and go, I'm interested, and then you can go to that wholesaler and be like, oh, it's gone. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's part of the game. It's part of what it is, right?
Learn as much as you can, so that next time you find a deal and see how that transaction
The
works.
process.
Because I don't know, for wholesaling, like, a lot of the fear is how that transaction work, how that documents work, how all
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So if
Legalities,
you
yeah.
become an expert on that, then you can manage the deal yourself, instead of being like a second person or a third person.
Yeah,
That this can be a good opportunity to learn firsthand how things happen.
right. That makes sense.
Cool. So that's a little bit about wholesaling. Anything else? I gotta do my normal.
Mike, what
Yeah.
about betting, like property management, when you put your house with a property management? Because again, you hear all these horror stories,
Mhm.
so what are some things that you advise me to ask or look, or, so I'm having the meeting with them on Monday.
Okay, so you're looking for property
No, I already
management.
have them.
Okay.
It's just that I want to just, like, this being my first property that somebody else is going to manage, I want to, like, what things do I need to be aware, or questions to ask to see how good they're going to be?
So you haven't hired them yet.
Yes, I hired them now, but I
So you're
can,
supposed you gotta ask those questions before.
I know, right?
Yes. But you can still fire them, or
But
unless you say,
exactly, I can fire them.
unless you have an
Like,
agreement.
every 30 days I can fire them.
Every 30 days. Okay.
Yes.
So that's the first part. One I usually like to get referrals from other investors I know that's been around for a while. They have a lot of properties. If someone's been successful with that property manager and they're a friend of mine or they're in my community, I usually start there, right? So just you could ask them for references,
Okay.
or you can do the Google review, the Yelp review. I would start with that public
Yeah.
image of what they have. If I think it's Rent Perfect or Garrick, I think someone has a list of questions that you can ask your property manager just kind of to interview them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that, but I can get that for you.
Okay.
So you just want to know what they're, Michaela?
At the last, women's group, Sherry is the facilitator, and she was talking about that.
Okay.
Because she has 11 properties in Indiana, and she plans to rehab 5, keep 5, sell 5 and keep 5.
Mhm.
So what does she do with her new property manager? She meets with the property manager weekly.
Mhm.
And then she started saying, okay, these are our numbers, this is what I expect to see every month. I mean, this is what happened this month. It doesn't have to be a long conversation, but what happened this week? What do we need to do in the future? What's going on with this tenant? Whatever it is that you're looking for,
Mhm.
did you get your payment? Any upgrades, any problems, blah, blah, blah. It could be 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But she meets with them weekly. She did that for like 2 months.
Mhm.
And then she started noticing that every time she met with the property manager, they had all of the answers that she was looking for.
Okay.
They were up on who was late or who didn't make a payment and what the steps that property manager planned to do to make sure that payment was being made.
Okay.
Then, after that, she said, then I pull back.
Mhm.
So I might not meet every week anymore, I might meet every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then, you might go back to like a month. But you do wanna cause really now you're managing the property manager. The second thing is, how often do they get into the house?
Mhm.
What are they doing to check HVAC? How are they checking on your property without checking on your property?
Yeah.
So, one thing, like, Augie is a property manager here in Phoenix, he's also one of the, business associates, but he was talking about his company gets into the house 6 times a year.
Oh, that's amazing.
So imagine, so
Yeah.
you wanna find out how often can you get in the house?
Mhm.
If you're in Cleveland, lots of excuses to get in the house. The furnace, you wanna check the furnace, you wanna check the water heater, you wanna check the vents, whatever you wanna check,
Mhm.
what's that system to check it? And how is that person they're hiring to check it, how is that person going to, give you a report on what else is going on? Is the tenant nasty? Does it look like the tenant said that it was going to be a mom and her 3 kids, but now she's got a different dude every week? Like what's going on in the house that person that's going into the house can give you that
I
information.
like that, yeah.
So you're trying to, whoever you have going in, if it's a pest control, whoever that person is that's checking on your house, are they gonna give you other intel outside of just, I changed the vents,
Mhm.
or I sprayed? You can have somebody going in for pest control every month, and really, pest control is a joke because it's just spraying some poison.
Mhm.
But when that person goes to spray, what else are they telling you about the apartment?
Mhm.
So, ask them about their team. Like, what kind of intel can you get from me where we don't have to go in and actually say, I wanna do an inspection? I'm getting reports from all of those people that are coming into your.
But
moving in and out.
a part of that, so one property management is called On-Key Property Management. They actually, it was a mandatory thing.
Yeah,
Like they go every other month, on the first of the month, they have their iPad, they take pictures of the entire house, they do everything Michaela's saying, they're looking for odd things that are within the lease, and then they have a portal where all your pictures go, and you could see everything, they'll write a report of what they saw and everything, so what's the maintenance routine?
mhm,
Another part of that is, what's the how do you, like she said, Augie and AZ Residential, even though they're our business associates here in Arizona, I would still call them and ask them that same question.
Okay.
Say, they'll talk to you, right? So that's what they're there for. So they'll give you some good advice for when you call Cleveland property managers. So what's the process of tenant screening, right? What's the deposits? What's the rents? What do they charge for marketing,
Mhm.
right? Because they usually sometimes will take a month's rent,
Yeah.
your first month or whatever it is. What happens if the tenant leaves within the first 2-3 months and just disappears? Do you have to pay that marketing again? What's their maintenance routine? What else? What is late payment process? Fees? What do they charge? 7 to 10%. It's probably been around 10%, right? What's your communication? Do you have like a portal? Is it just email? Is it phone? So it's a lot of the places I have a login. What's the tax reporting at the end of the year? All that stuff. What's the maintenance request? So when there is something that needs to be fixed, is there anything under $250 they could just go fix? What price range do you have to sign off on that they could fix things?
Yeah.
So a lot of different things along that.
And they send me all the information. It's just that on Monday we're having like, okay, the onboarding meeting.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, and I read everything that they sent me, but I'm like, okay, what else I'm not thinking? So this is great points
Cool.
to ask them, yeah. And they came like with a lot of referrals, and then it was part of that group of that I'm with. So that makes me feel a little bit better, but I want to be like on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And I like what you say about Sherry, because I feel at the beginning you had to be more on top, but also not micromanage, and then little by little, like, okay, let them handle the things.
Yeah, so definitely, and shop around. I know they're part of your community, which that's fine too. If you like them, go for it. If everyone else in that world is liking them, that's good. So, but yeah, I would ask them as many questions as you can along those lines. So, anything else? Good? Good stuff. Property management, wholesaling. So far, so good. Anyone ever see this? Real estate's an ideal investment.
I watched the launch pad,
Oh, you did?
the launch pad.
Did I do it on there? All right. That's all right. Cool. So, all right, you can watch. So, what's I stand for?
Investment?
Income.
Ah.
So real estate's an ideal investment because it's income, cash flow, fix and flipping, sales, wholesaling, right? So you can make money with real estate investing. D. Depreciation. All right, so there's plenty of ways. The government provides benefits to people that provide shelter, jobs, energy, just anything. There's entrepreneurs have benefits within the tax code, right? So we all have access to them, not just big corporations, right? We all have access to the same tax code. It's just that you need to understand it or hire someone that understands it, which we've been talking about. So just in general, just basic one thing when it comes to real estate investing is called straight line depreciation. So for 20 reason when you're looking for cash buyers, why those landlords are buying or high income earners, they want to leverage this part. So imagine if you're saving $3,000 of property, you had 10 houses, right? It adds up, compounds, right? So you have write-offs. E,
So it's no expenses?
not expenses, no, equity, right? All right, so you're paying down your mortgage. So if you had $100,000 mortgage when you bought the property, one, you put a tenant in the property. The tenant then pays you rent, which covers your mortgage, and you profit. So the $100,000 is going down every month, right? And you're not paying that, right? So the tenant's paying your mortgage down, and they say on average over history, every 10 years, house doubles, right? So if it's doubling, what's it doing?
Appreciating.
It's appreciating. So let's just hypothetically just give it rough, easy numbers, $200,000 10 years from now. Over 10 years, your tenant is paying your mortgage down. Let's just say you're at 70, right? I don't know the rough numbers. So right here, this is all equity, right? Or depending where you're at in that 10 cycle, like COVID, everything boomed up, right? Or shot up, but so this is the true power of real estate outside of yes income, yes depreciation, but over time as you hold properties and just let them sit there, they go up, and this is where the wealth is. This is where a lot of people need to get access to. So if you want to put your kids through college, emergencies, or you could do something else with all this. Leverage. Other people's money, other people's resources, other people's knowledge, right? So you can go to the bank and say, hey, I have a property with $130,000 equity. Can I use that? You can refi or HELOC, right? You can pull that money out tax-free, and then you could take, right, this is probably not Phoenix numbers, but you could take that 50K, 60K, 70K and put it down a down payment on another house. So now you got two houses, or whatever it is. You see? So you want to get access to this equity, and another main thing, you're leveraging the bank for pulling that money out. So if you wanted to buy Apple stock right now, it's whatever, a few $100 a share. If you wanted 100 shares of Apple stock, how much money do you need to buy those shares?
The full amount.
The full amount. If you go to the bank, how much do you need to buy a property?
Just 20%.
20%, 25%. Now they just roll FHA. If you house hack, buy a fourplex, 3.5%. Now they have that multifamily program, 5%. So 5% of $500,000, $600,000 property is what you need to get into the deal. And that 5%, if you get really creative, doesn't even have to come out of your pocket. You can figure that out. You can get it from someone else, right? So that's why this is the main thing, why real estate is an ideal investment. So I wish I kind of really understood that. It's kind of learned it sunk in as I got more experienced. Any questions about that? All right.
No, that's a nice concept that summarize real estate in a really nice
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
it's powerful, right? So it's an ideal investment, and there's many different ways to use it. So with all that said, does this spark up any questions or like what you're trying to do? Like how do you guys want to take this, right? So landlord, wholesaler, fix and flip agent, landlord, figuring it out. So what do you ultimately want?
I just want a, I guess, portfolio of houses with a bunch of tenants,
Okay,
just generating income.
cool. So do you have like a cash flow number that you're like, hey, if I get this cash flow, if I cash flow this amount, I'd be cool right now for where I'm at in life.
Like right now or in the future?
Whatever works for you. What's your goal?
10K a month,
10K a month.
yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever thought about how to put that together? So if you watch Launchpad, you kind of know where I'm going. Do you remember?
A little bit.
All right. So, let's say you make 300 net profit a month on a property. So anyone got a calculator? My phone's all tied up here. $10,000 divided by 300.
30 houses.
That's 33.33.
So you need 33 houses. Right? At first it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? Right? That's like, it's a lot of houses. You know what I mean? And you're just trying to figure it out, so it might be like a big thing. So how do you chunk that down, right? You start with one.
Yeah.
So you need 33 houses netting $300 a month. When do you want to do that by? It's like a lifetime goal, a
4
year
years.
goal, 4 year.
Yeah, 4 years would be ideal.
So that's what, 10 houses? How many?
8 and a quarter.
4 years, 8 per year. Okay. And so you need 8 per year. Do you have a job? Like a W?
Part-time.
Part-time? Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. W-2? Like,
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
all right, cool. You have bank account?
Oh, yeah.
All right, bank account. You got a job, right? So you got some income coming in. How's your credit?
I don't have credit.
All right, so you just gotta, usually it's either, it's bad credit or don't have credit, right? So either way, you gotta get some credit, and there's easy ways to do that. So you gotta
Credit
start,
card?
credit card. I mean, I didn't start working on my credit probably till like 5-6 years ago, and I had like a 500 credit score. I went and bought one of those $250
Prepaid cards.
prepaid cards at
Oh,
Capital.
God.
Go to CapitalOne.com, give them $250, and go spend your $250 on gas, and then pay yourself
each
back.
month, yeah.
And before you know it, they're gonna be like, one day you're gonna get a letter in the mail say, you're qualified for a $500 credit card. Boom, take it. And then do the same thing. Always live within your means, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're doing that, you're fine, and pay it before the interest hits on the 30th day. So, little things like that can get the ball rolling, okay? So once you have your credit and taxes, you could, leverage your personal job situation to go do the house hacking. You get what I'm saying? Do the 3.5% down, live in a fourplex kind of situation. That's one way to kind of think it through. Or what I would just tell anybody is raise money. Learn how to raise money from other people to buy the properties.
Yeah.
You heard of John Burley that comes around, does some teaching?
No.
Okay, so if anything, it's all about the money. So leverage what you have to get the properties, use what you can, but outside of that, you're gonna have to figure out how to raise money privately, or there's also the DSCR loans. So the DSCR loan is, and you can bypass everything we just told you to do, but I would still do it though, right? You want to stack the cards on your side. You want to be the best in it, be able to leverage anything you can in any way, right? So always have your credit right, your job, and your taxes right. So use that because under your name, under your personal name, you can get 10 houses. All right, and then from there you can go to DSCR, which you use that, right?
But my DSCR was backed by me, so they give me a better rate like that.
Like you use your personal credit or your personal
So
guarantee.
I was like the personal guarantee, so, and like that he was able to give me like a better rate, that if it was not backed by me.
Got it. So
Mhm.
yeah, yes. When it comes to shopping for a loan, there's like the DSCR product, but there's like a million lenders, and they all have their same different
Criteria.
terms, their own versions of the terms. But just to keep it simple for today, it's based on the asset. So you're gonna go say, hey, I found this house. It's $200,000. Whatever it appraises at, they're gonna lend you 70%. Right? So or every bank's there. Maybe 80, maybe
Yeah.
75, whatever, 69, whatever it is. So you got to come up with that difference, right? But they're not going to check your job, and they're going to check your credit, but they're just only doing that for your for the interest rate that they give you. Lower score, higher rate. That's
So I'm
basically
gonna need like 20 to 30% to buy a
Correct.
house.
potentially, right? And like she went the turnkey route, meaning it was already renovated. So she didn't go look for a property that was in distress and beat up, because the banks usually don't loan on that. You have to pay cash or hard money. However, but we're just saying to get you started, you can go out, find a partner with the 30%. So every deal is knowledge and time, money and credit. So I would say 95% of my houses I used other people's money, right? So I'm the knowledge and time. I'm in the business. I know to comp properties. I got the team. I got the marketing. I got the know-how, whatever it is. And then I find people that have income, that enjoy their life. They love their jobs. They have IRAs, money sitting in the bank, and they'll team up with me. And there's different ways to team up with me, but they'll put up the money and use their credit, either or, and I'll run the deal. I'll be the operator. So you can get people to be partners on deals and they can come up with the 30%. So you can go to Cleveland, buy a property for $100,000 right now, or any Midwest city.
Save us
Yeah.
$20,000
Twenty-
duplex,
Yeah.
Well-
fix it.
Well, that's a little different story. That you would refi. You ever heard of the Burr method?
Yeah, I've heard.
Buy, renovate, rent, refi, repeat. But like, that's a little bit more moving pieces. I wouldn't really recommend that for the beginner yet. But just to get you started, so we talked about leveraging your personal credit in W-2. We talked about DSCR or raising money. So this is partially a start of how you start raising money. So you can get an LLC with somebody. You guys could be 50-50 partners, just keeping it simple. We won't get into strategy, but they'll put up the 30%. You'll go find the property, you'll maintain it, you'll find the property manager, you'll be the property manager, whatever it is. And you literally can go buy a rental property this month. Like, it's not even a question. So then you just gotta, once you go through the motion, and you go through, like the first 8 for the first year, I never wanna tell anyone they can't do it. Just depends how committed you are and how much time and energy you're willing to put into this, right? So even maybe the first year it's 2, right? Go through the DSCR process, go through the leveraging your personal stuff, right? Get some experience, then you build it up, right? Or if you're just a go-getter and you're gung-ho and you got relationships, start building them. There's people in these rooms with money. If you go to the Phoenix Real Estate Club, every single month, like clockwork, for 20 years, someone says, I have money to lend. Just like that. It's like, will it work out all the time? Will you guys fit or be good partners, or will they want to lend on your? You never know. But that's how it is, right? So the reason people don't take advantage of that is fear. Fear of rejection, fear that they're going to say no, fear they're going to look stupid. So if you can go on our forums on AZREIA.org, go to the Phoenix Real Estate Club on our forums and go back every month for the last year, and there's probably 10 to 20 phone numbers, 10 to 40 phone numbers in there that you could just pick up the phone and call every past attendee to that and say, what's up?
So they're private lenders? They consider themselves private lenders?
Yes. Now, I'm not saying everybody on the list, but I'm saying at least one minimum will express it in front of the group, I have money to lend. So there's probably more in there, but you just never know, right?
Where is this at?
I was gonna ask, where's that again?
It's here.
No, I mean,
Oh.
like what board?
Oh, if you go on our website in our forums,
Okay.
right, and log in as a member in the back end, it'll give you access to it'll say I have. As a wholesaler, I would be calling every single person you meet. I would go back the whole year and call every phone number. That's exactly what I did when I started. I would go to the meeting, they'd have a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 names, and next day I'd pick up my phone and go, what you got? What you doing? I'm Mike. How can I help? Da-da-da. I'm a wholesaler, right? Sometimes you never talk to the person again. Some people I still talk to 12 years later. Like, it's all relationships is what this business is. So,
Why are they so willing to give you the money? Just an investment for them, basically, like an easy investment?
nothing's easy. Okay.
No, like for the private lender.
Like, why would they give you money, right? Why would I lend? Okay, so one,
That's
And-
their desired risk that they want to take.
yeah, they have a criteria, like what we would say as wholesalers, or when we go direct to seller, we look for problems, not properties, right? So we're trying to, with our cash, we're finding people that inherited or have distressed property that they no longer want. So our quick cash gets them out of that situation. So we solve their problem. Whereas rich people have problems too. It's just not the same kind. They don't have a distressed property, it's a headache. I have a lot of money problems, or I have a lot of money. The first thing, if they got $500,000 sitting in cash in the bank, which is what's been the biggest news over the last 2 years.
God, bank's closing.
No. That is a problem, yes, of course.
Bank's closing.
But inflation.
Yeah.
So if it hit 9% and gas is up, milk is up, everything is up, insurance is up, Well, and their money's just sitting there doing nothing, they're losing buying power by 9%. So they need to lend the money to get a return on it so it stays strong or grows. So they worked hard, they got good careers, or they saved a lot, whatever it is, so they need to put it to work, right? And they now, their problem is one, that's just one problem, but now they need to put that money to work. And two, the second problem is they don't know what to do. Maybe some people are, there's times when they're afraid of the stock market, right? Or when we go to school, we're not taught how to invest money, let alone maybe even balance a checkbook. I never learned any of that, right? So it's like, so now they got all this money. I get engineers, doctors, all types of people come through here, and they want to learn because they're very smart, they're hands-on, and they're just like, I don't got time to go find a distressed property and negotiate the deal and do 10,000 direct mailers and cold call and da-da-da. So, because you got to look at 80 to 100 properties to analyze them to find one good deal. So they're doctors, or I'm just using them as an example, or they're these people that have family, everything, so they don't have time. So we're problem solvers again, just in a different way with people with money. So if you can get a few people and show them that more than your knowledge of the real estate business, your character, right? They're investing in you, how they feel about you, your integrity, your character. Are you willing?
Trustworthy.
Are you trustworthy? Are you going to do whatever it takes to keep the money safe and keep the investment strong, right? And profitable. So go out there, network, read books, listen to podcasts, apply what you're learning, and start making mistakes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get a mentor, JV with someone, I don't know, whatever you can do to get experience, and just start letting everyone know you're investing. Right now, I don't know if you guys are talking about social media. I was just at the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, just learned some cool things at the beginners group. Just let people know, because everyone loves HGTV, right? Everyone loves real estate in some way, so they're going to be curious. And if you consistently show that you're always doing something in real estate, when someone has a real estate situation, they're going to call you for advice. 12 years I've been doing this. Not too long ago, I got someone that followed me that I didn't know. Best friend's mother was going through foreclosure, and she DM'd me asking for advice on how to stop the foreclosure. I didn't get the deal, but I said, here's what I would do. Pass that along. You know what I mean? They used the information. Whatever happened, I don't know what ended up happening, but I didn't do the deal. But it was cool that someone was like,
Reach out.
let me just reach out, right?
Yeah.
And there's a million scenarios where I say, I did do the deal, or whatever it is. So if you do that, you can start raising money. So that's how you're going to get. This is truly, raising the money is the fastest way you're going to get to your 33 houses.
Gotcha.
Partnering up,
Gotcha.
JVing, using the DSC, leveraging the L in ideal, leveraging people, leveraging the bank, leveraging your credit, all these different situations, leveraging property. So I just did a deal. I'll be talking about it all the time because I'm so excited about it. We just did a seller carry back in Sedona, Arizona. I got a 1.75 interest rate,
Oh, that's amazing.
and I bought the house $200,000 under market value.
Wow.
I had to put 20% down, which is, I always fight not to do, but just the fact, this is the scenario, the location, all that stuff, it was well worth it. But in a market where interest rates are the highest they've been in 20 years, I locked in a 1.75.
That's amazing.
You just never know. So that's another way, creative financing. So outside of leveraging everything we said, now we could talk about, hey, homeowner, you own the house free and clear. Will you be the bank? That's what they owned it free and clear. They didn't want all the money, right? They didn't want to get pay the taxes on a sale of a $750,000 property. They could take portion of it now, and then just pay taxes on what I pay them every year. Then when it balloons in 6 years, it'll be less of a hit, but it is what it is. They didn't want to deal with that now. They didn't want that big hit. So they had other people, even the homeowner owns the house free and clear, and they're not in distress. You see, that was a problem, right? So
What are you going to do with the house, a short term or,
Short term and live there.
are you going to live there?
Yep.
That's amazing.
I've been there the last 2 days, like,
That's amazing.
yeah, it is.
It's
So
worth the
that's
drive.
beautiful, yeah.
Huh?
It's worth the drive.
Well worth the drive. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was 2 days in a row. It's pretty tough. There, back, there, back. I didn't sleep over yet.
Oh,
Where,
Um,
where is it again?
in
Sedona.
Sedona.
But yes, if you want to take a day hike or just go out for the one day, it's morning, come back in the late afternoons. Well, it's easy. Or stay one night, or whatever you can do. I would recommend it. So you get what I'm saying? There's a lot out there, but the only way you're gonna understand all this, I didn't understand this in my first beginners group. It's just something that was always a never-ending learning process.
Mike, like just thinking what you're saying, but wouldn't it be better you start little, and then as you start learning and making all the mistakes, then start like reaching out to other people's, getting other people money, or you would say even as a beginner, you should start reaching to other people and learn with their money?
So there's no right. I can't. It's like I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong way. Are you confident in what you can do and what you can learn? Right? There's a little at a little. There's nothing wrong with one bite at a time. Right? Well, they say, how do you eat an elephant? Right?
Yeah.
One bite. That's fine. You're going to learn throughout the process. But then I have people that are all about quantum leaps. Just go big. Right? So it's like. Whatever you're comfortable with. That's it's like. It's so being on the internet, watching everyone do all this stuff. You just want to be there. You want to get there. And you're comparing, which is a killer, right? So it's like, do what you can do, right? Don't lie to yourself though, and be like, I'm going small because you're scared. But like, if you know you're fully capable and you can take bigger leaps, do it. Just to kind of like story wise, like how I I started learning how to leverage. I call it my dentist story. It's an older gentleman dentist. This is when I started when the market crashed. So I didn't know what that meant. So that's another thing. Like, like a kid, they just go for everything. They don't have any fear. Like all these fears are learned by them over time. But like, so everyone was running for the market. Every family and friends were like, why are you getting into real estate? Why'd you quit your job to do real estate when it's the worst and you're crazy? But I learned from the people that were buying the houses, it was the best time on earth to buy because everything was on sale.
Yeah.
Like every time something on sale at the grocery store, you run to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't run from the grocery store because everything's cheap, right? So same thing in real estate. So there's a guy named Dennis. He bought 50 houses down the I-17 freeway. You might not know where that's at. Everyone know where that's at, right? West Phoenix. And so he was just buying cheap houses, older houses, fixing them up, whatever. So, and I was wholesaling them to him. And I was making $5K, and I was happy as ever because I'm in real estate, I'm not working, I'm making $5,000, right? It's the best thing on earth. And then I found a property in Central Phoenix, in Central Camelback. Everyone know where that is? Good area? Pearson Historic District. It was the smallest house in the neighborhood. I was on Craigslist because Craigslist was a thing back then. And it was a vacant house. Called the guy on Craigslist, he had it for sale. And at that time, it sounds so crazy, it was just sitting there, and no one was buying it from him. He wanted like 15 or something. We offered him $5,000. Okay, Central and Camelback, because you got the environment at the time was you can go down to the auction, buy a 2002 built cookie cutter red tile roof house, 2,000 square feet for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. So like, why do you want to buy an old used house, in tough parts of town, right? So. I had it for $5,000. No one wanted it. Dennis came by. He's like, "Oh, I'll buy this. How much you want?" I was like, $10,000. I wanted to make my $5,000. He's like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Do you want to own it?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do I get my $5,000?" That was the main. So he says, "Yeah, I'll buy the house. You'll get your $5,000. I'll buy it for $10,000. I'll come in. I'll renovate it, and then we'll rent it out. And you'll own 25%. Cool, whatever, right? So we buy the property. So he says, I'm going to borrow the money. I'm going to borrow $18,000 from my buddy at the golf course, right? So he borrowed 18, bought it for 10. Closing costs, it needed work, but it wasn't like a major renovation. So he had 18 all in. like 3 months goes by, we have a new tenant in there, it was like $800 a month, right? He goes, hey, I'm gonna borrow money from someone else and pay my buddy back the 18,000. I was like, okay. Well, first I thought he was putting up the 18 because he's the big player in town, right? Like 50 houses. But then he was like, I'm borrowed from a buddy. Then he goes, I got this lady in Scottsdale who's gonna let me borrow 25 and we're gonna pay the 18 guy back. I was like, what's going on? I thought you were like the master everything planner here. He's like, no, we're gonna refi it. So he basically took like a hard money loan for 18,000 from the guy at the golf course. All 18, 100%. So he didn't put up any money himself, but he had the property manager, he had the contractors, all that stuff. Fixed it all up, got it running. Says, I'm done. The guy at the golf course wants his money back 6 months later, whatever it is, 6 months later. Goes to the lady in Scottsdale who does long-term money. She gave 25, 18 goes to the hard money guy, and it was like, was that $7,000 or whatever it is? We split, he just split the last 7 with me, so 35. So I made $5,000 up front. I'm starting to make 25% of the cash flow, and I made $3,500 like 4 or 5 months later, just because we cash out refied on this small little property. So, and then I looked back and I said, he's the smartest one, right? I found the deal. I did all the marketing and the hustle and the grunt work. He had the contractors and property manager. They did all the work. The guy at the golf course paid for acquisition and renovation. And then the lady at the end did the long-term 5-10 year loan for $25,000 and paid everyone back. And he owned 75%. I owned 25%. Like that was my first exposure to creativeness and leverage, and made me start saying, I got to figure out how to do more than wholesaling, right? So that right there, that's when I'm saying relationships. Like, get yourself. And there's people out there that will do that. He didn't have to do that. So we sold that property about 1.5 years ago for $300,000.
Oh, so you guys keep this almost for
Yeah, we kept it for a long time,
a long
10
time.
years.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. Then you just get a payday at the end.
So the people in the forum, that are like the private, money lenders, are they vetted in any way, or are they just kind of people that have been with the group for some time and you know them, and like, does anybody ever get, like, their names taken down if they've had bad experiences with others and people maybe said, hey, they've been scamming me over or something like that? Do you ever remove anybody from the forum?
Got it. Never had to, or never were we told that someone's doing that. So yes, of course, if there was bad news on something, we actually, there was a member that went in and was hustling all our coupon codes. There, she was saving all our coupon codes. She put it in and she got a $1,000 product for free.
You have coupon codes?
yeah, we put them out sometimes. Yeah,
Okay.
but we removed her from the membership. Right, like, so yes, so if anyone does stuff like that, of course, we don't tell, integrity is the number one thing here at AZREIA, so it's like, but at the end of the day, we can't vet everybody.
Right.
I can't vet you, can't vet him, you know what I mean? So, if we have wind of something wrong, we'll handle it to the best of our capability, but that's where your due diligence comes in,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Just kinda curious, like, what level of knowledge do you have about these people? But I guess if they've been there for some time and you didn't get wind of anything, then that's a good sign.
yeah, I would say it's good. It's like, so first and foremost, our business associates are vetted.
Yeah.
And they've been us long term. If we got complaints from members, we would fix the situation or remove them. But when you meet someone in a networking group that might be their first time here, because guests come too, and the guests are on that list too. You know what I mean? So, due diligence once again, like, meet them, get to know them. You know, just because, so when you get in business with someone, that's like a marriage, and you got to get it on paper, document legally, properly, right? So, you just don't want to jump in just because someone says, hey, I have $200,000.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
not at all.
You don't want to get in with the wrong person, but
They have a whole list of questions for me.
that's great. So, and also, there's so many ways to protect it. If you get an attorney, you do an operating agreement. An operating agreement, when you get an LLC, explains whose responsibilities are what. You should have it. Like if you go to, what's it called, a LegalZoom, whatever, you're going to get a boilerplate LLC, right? Maybe, I don't know what's in it, but you can add things to your operating agreement or take things out. So like if you went to Mick McGurr at Focus Law, you got the thing, you say, hey, I have a business partner. Here, if we want to sell this property, here, you get what I'm saying? Like, we're going to buy this house, in 5 years, we're going to sell it, right? Or if I don't want to sell it, I got to buy them out. You got to have all these clauses in there to think through, but you could put all that in your operating agreement to protect yourself at the end of the day. That's what I'm getting at.
So as far as LLCs, I have one, but I'm using it for something else. I probably have to get another. But are there some more geared, because mine is just general for like whatever use I choose. But are there some geared more towards just real estate? With the clauses like you're talking about?
Yep. Yep. So definitely. So, yeah, and there's different ways to use your LLCs. Right? If you're wholesaling, that's more transactional. So I might have one for wholesaling. I have one for flipping. And rentals, sometimes I get them one in each rental or one property per rental. Sometimes I get up to 2 or 3, but that's about it. So when we were talking about wealth planning, that's part of the process, right? When you sit down with your accountant and you have a plan, right? Certain LLCs for your wealth and certain are for transactions. So you start to get into that world as well as you grow.
Because also with your LLC, you have to think in your taxes when you structure it. So it depends if you're having passive income versus active income. Then that structure might be different for taxes. So if you have different business, sometimes it's better to have different LLCs.
Good questions. Good. So what else can we do? We did ideal. We did cash flow quadrant. What's 7:15? Any other questions? Anything
Should I make like an LLC for what I'm trying to do?
as a rental?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, LLC protects you. That's what it's for. So I don't want to see you out there buying houses in your personal name, wholesaling, flipping. Have an LLC. Wherever you got to go get it. Just it's like a shell. It protects you. So if something happens, you have a tenant, they trip, they want to sue you. Now they're not coming after your personal bank account, your car, your house, all that stuff. So whatever's in the LLC. So you have one house, and you just have the expenses just for your reserves, and that's it.
Gotcha.
And that's all they can get.
Gotcha.
Must have an LLC. Yes.
Cool.
So even if you're doing like 1, 2, or 3 deals, like you'd want to get an LLC before the first deal.
As a wholesaler?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So.
here's how I would say it. Don't let not having an LLC stop you, but you should, right? You don't have to go buy one from an attorney, or there's 3 different levels. I always say the most expensive is going to be the attorney, but it's probably going to be the best. Then there's doc prep companies. Will probably be halfway, a little bit cheaper, right? But have some substance there. Or you can go like online, some of these cheap 99 places, even if you have to do that. Or you could go to the county and do it yourself, maybe for like $80, whatever it is, right? So if I'd like to say, if you don't have $80, it might be hard to really do this business. So you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
get the $80, $100, go get a cheap one for now. You could always upgrade it. If you can, because anything can happen. So if you get in a weird, I was in a situation where I wholesaled a deal to a landlord where it was a full renovation, and it got a bunch of squatters in there, tweakers, drug addicts, and they couldn't get them out. They boarded it up. They took the boards down. They put a fence up and lights. Still got in. I don't know what happened, but within a year of not able to start the renovation and get these people out, she bulldozed the building. So, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left out. We structured a seller carryback with the homeowner, and then we sold the structure. As a wholesaler, you can assign a seller carryback, right, and make a fee, and you assign your rights to the end buyer. So technically, she wasn't legally supposed to do that. She can't just bulldoze the building, and then she disappeared. Now this homeowner doesn't have a house.
That makes sense.
So what if they wanted to come after me, you, or someone, right?
So, that scenario. So the homeowner was trying to wholesale it, or there's an agreement with somebody else, and the person with the agreement is the one that bulldozed it and not the homeowner?
Yeah, so it was like, so really, it was an investor was the owner, right? It's been vacant for like 10 years. It was a crappy neighborhood, crappy house, but still, it was a structure. And we got it at a certain seller carryback price point, right? And we put our fee on it, and we assigned it to the buyer, the landlord, got our fee, stepped out. The landlord came in as the new owner, made their mortgage payments every month to the original seller.
Okay, cause that original seller's still there, okay.
Well, the seller's not in the house or
Well, I
anything.
mean,
Yeah.
not the house
They're
physically,
the-
but she's still in the picture.
They are like the
because
bank.
The bank.
Financing,
That's
yeah.
the bank.
Yes.
That's why.
So the owner, the original owner's the bank. New buyers on title, didn't finish what they were supposed to do, bulldozed it just because they were pissed off at the drug addicts. So it's terrible, right? Like, so what I'm saying all that to say to you, LLC, because you just don't know. Like, I've seen I still see crazy things. I'm like, oh, is that really 12 years? Like, that's still like, I'm amazed sometimes. So,
Where was that?
Central Phoenix.
It was in Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, yeah. Yep, so yeah.
That was a creative deal that you did pretty much.
Yep.
So like even if it was like a cash offer, it'd be like a done deal, but
Well,
would
he-
something still happen after that? Cause
Well-
I thought like once you got the cash and they're all happy, like it's kind of finished.
Alright, so say that question again.
Is
So
there a
like if,
bathroom?
Oh, go out into the hallway straight and take a right.
Gotcha.
Alright.
But the
So-
owner of the house was the bank, they were financing,
yeah,
so that's why they were still in the equation, right?
Yes.
yeah,
It was like a seller financing deal.
Yes.
yeah, that's what you did. But I'm just saying like if there was a scenario where the seller got their money
Okay.
from the buyer
Mhm.
and the buyer is like in the process of renovating, at that point, the seller, and the wholesaler, or whoever else is involved, like the JV, would be out of it at that point,
Yes.
and then
Yes, 'cause
that's
it-
all on the buyer.
As wholesalers, you're assigning your interest in the that we're selling our interest in the contract. So once I assign it, I'm out.
Okay,
Yep, I'm released from that contract. Now it's homeowner and cash buyer.
okay.
Yep, I have nothing to do with it.
So where does the title company get involved? Cause if you're not using, the standard process of buying and selling, is the wholesaler also working with the title company to
Yeah.
help?
Everything's, everything fix and flipping, wholesaling, it's all through title company. Nothing's different. I would recommend never to do a deal outside of title, right? So, yeah, wholesalers, they're on the settlement statement or HUD one, all the time. Yep.
From what I understand too, I think the seller and the wholesaler might negotiate, or not negotiate, but figure out a, appropriate title company, and then they'll use that at the closing for the buyer's end too. That's
Yeah,
at least from what I
usually-
understand.
We say go to investor-friendly title company, usually, it's, they all understand assignments and know what double closes are. It's just some have levels of liability, with some will or will not do it. It's just up to the title company, but a lot of them do it. Yep, standard stuff. So, how can I help you guys leave here with something that you're like, you can take home with you?
I don't know, it's
Or you guys
been
like
very
this
much.
conversation style?
No, it's been great. It's like a lot. Like every time that I talk with you, you just make me think in a million things. So that's why I like coming here and bouncing ideas with you. But no, this is great. This is very helpful.
Thank you, cool.
What hard money company would you recommend with the best terms, easiest to get into?
Yeah, there's a lot,
Is there
one,
one or two that you would recommend?
well, yeah, Boomerang, so if you
say
call,
your-
of course, so I'm gonna give you two, I'm gonna give here and not here. Boomerang, of course, just because, check all our business associates, and Boomerang, if you call, oh man, hope he's not watching. This is- Oh, man, anyway, call Boomerang, they'll comp the property, they'll give you Andrew Banks. Oh, jeez. He'll comp the property and tell you what to offer, man. Like what a lot of these hard money companies just see who you're working with. But I know Andrew. He'll comp the property and he'll tell you what he'll lend on it, and you can even use his offer if you trust his comps. Like, do your own due diligence. Always check his work, but he's usually spot on. He'll be like, hey, I'll lend X amount, so you'd probably have to be at this price.
Was that an individual person or a company?
Andrew is at Boomerang.
Okay.
So places like Boomerang and stuff, they have points. So a lot of these hard money companies are pretty much the same at some level, maybe 9 to 13%, 10 to 20% down, 6 to 1 year loan terms, right? So what I do as, a wholesaler, if I take the property down and I know I'm just gonna clean it out or something, or just resell it because I got such a good deal, I'll go to Barry at Kayak Capital.
I've heard of them.
Yep. So there's no points. So he'll charge me 12%. I'll do like 15. It'll be 10 to 15% down, no points, and a year loan, just like anyone else. But I'll pay the higher interest because I know I'm gonna get rid of it in 30 days. I could literally flip the property in 2 days and pay him back, and he'll just charge me to 2 days of interest. Versus some of the bigger companies, they'll want a minimum time, maybe a month or 2 weeks or of interest, right? So, and they want points. So you just got to shop around,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, there's so many, and I've seen so many come through my emails, but I've seen Kayak quite a few times, so that seems to be a highly rated place.
Yeah, he's great. He's quick too. He'll give you an answer, yes, no, yes. He might not, like Andrew might help you with the comping and the offer at some level. Barry will just say, hey, here's what I'll lend. Here's what or I will do it, or I won't do it, and you'll get a quick response.
So you said that there's like between 1 and 6 month terms, but yet Kayak might do shorter terms. Does that mean that they wouldn't charge any penalties, like prepayment penalties?
No, they're always 6 months or a year, right? But their terms are, if I do 12%, there's no points. But if I did like 10%, there would be a point. So it's just, like I said, when you shop around with lenders, whether they're hard money or banks, they all have similar products, but they do things a little bit differently sometimes. So it's good to call 5, 10 different lenders and just walk through those questions. And I always recommend calling 10 wholesalers, 10 lenders, 10 agents, 10 property managers, because you're going to ask them all the same questions. You're going to get better at asking questions. Like I was telling you earlier, the better questions you ask, the better answers you're going to get. So it's like, until you talk to 5 hard money lenders, some are going to break down the whole process for an hour from you. Some are going to be short and sweet and get off the phone. But you get what I'm saying. Research. And then you'll see how everyone works. So that would be the best bet. So hard money, where are you looking for deals at?
You mean what part of town?
That and like how is deal flow coming into you so you can analyze it and make an offer?
Well, as an agent, I have multiple ways of like evaluating it, but like as far as the actual properties, you mean like where am I finding the properties?
Yeah.
So my team has a lot of off-market that comes through every now and then. I've made connections with different investors also, and also actually doing mailings in certain areas.
Cool.
That I'm interested in. And just word of mouth, I'm starting to market certain areas. So
Cool.
just trying to be more proactive at finding the off-market. But then even on MLS, there's a whole lot that can be, that are overpriced, that can definitely
Yeah.
take some cash offers.
That's
So
true.
I kind of evaluate those and run the comps on them, and, I can usually, I see what things get sold for as I track things over time. Like if I go see something, I'll monitor it and then see what it closes at. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought, if
Mhm.
they take a cash offer, or, how long it's gonna stay on the market at the price that they have it at, and sure enough, it stays on there like 4 months. But, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
So do you want, so it goes for everybody. Do you want to flip now? Like, if you had an opportunity to buy a house, would you want to buy it today?
Yeah, there's one that I have in mind. If I had money in hand, I would have definitely made an offer on it, for sure.
Okay,
But my problem right now is I don't have a day job, so I would need a lender that doesn't look at that sort of thing.
that's what hard money lenders, they don't look at that.
Okay.
So you have a, like for, I want to do this with all of you. So you have one, if you want a deal, one offer isn't gonna cut it, right? So if you always want, so if you have one you would like to write an offer on, I would just write the offer. Cause the offer is gonna be at a price where it's gonna be profitable for you.
Mhm.
So which means most likely profitable for someone else.
Mhm.
So, rather than going, hey, if I had the money in hand, like I was telling him, if you get the deal in their contract, $400,000 house, you get it for 200, right? Whatever, right? Hypothetically, now you hold gold. You get what I'm saying? Someone, depending how good that deal is, you'd call hard Andrew, right? And they're gonna be like, hey, usually they're 20%. He might go, well, just 10% down. Now you just need to find renovation and 10%. Now you need 20 grand plus 50,000 for renovation. Now you need 70. Now you got to come network and look for the 70 because Boomerang's gonna cover it. Or let's say, because especially if you go to MLS or you go direct to owner, you always get an inspection period. That's your time to go shopping. So yes, you're gonna do your due diligence on the property because you want to flip it, but at the same time, you get to add 10 grand on it and wholesale it by the end of your inspection period if you got it at that good of a deal.
Which I'd be happy to do, you know.
So-
Some things I want my touch on, I want, like, that's gonna be my flip. Other things would be like, well, if I can make some money, that's okay.
So
I would represent somebody, cause I have some investors and I'm okay representing them, for them to do it. But like this one that I presented, I would do myself, but what he was offering was way, way under. But I'm thinking, maybe take what he has, and then I can just maybe come up with the rest to make a reasonable offer, you know, something like
but
that.
there's a reason he wrote that crazy offer.
Well, he's not even in the state though, but, yeah, no.
Doesn't matter. Like it's a numbers game. It's all it is.
I know, exactly,
It's right-
exactly, but then there's also, some people have more of an insight to what sells here when you are local, and how to make it sell, and get the return that he doesn't see. They see a certain number of return
Mhm.
based on, you know, their calculations, and I understand that. But sometimes, you know, when you're local, you know, you can actually get more. I don't know, you just have a little bit more of a vision.
I'm not. So what I want you to do is write an offer today, right? So it's like so what I'm saying is if this guy says, hey, I would offer X on a property, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy, right? You could be a little crazy, right? But as long as if it gets him those fix and flip margins, and that's what he's willing to pay, you still have to write that offer, right? Because you never know what the owner. It does sound crazy all the time, right? And yes, it's 99% chance you're going to get a no, but unless you put that offer in, you'll never know. So we say, hey, so why even bypass that opportunity? I always say an offer is an initiation for a conversation. So
And I do, exactly, you know, I'm always, you know, talking to the agent, and, yeah, most of them are trying to hold out. And sometimes they rightfully, you know, hold out for a reason, because they know they can, and others shouldn't be holding out.
So the one that you found that you said, if I had money in hand, can you write that offer for me tomorrow? For you,
For myself.
for me, for yourself. At the price you need it at to make a profit on a fix and flip. Can you write it and submit it?
I should, right? I could.
Do you want it?
That's true. I
You
will
can.
Try.
So here's how I always, my analogy for real estate investing is you walk into the grocery store, you have a cart, you walking up, you go to the steak aisle, you can put 50 steaks in there, you go to veggies, you go to milk, I always get chicken strips, so it's like fill it up with $500 worth of groceries. Is it illegal to shop and fill up a cart with $500 worth of groceries? Can you walk up and down the aisle for 3 hours? Will you get kicked out? You don't have to pay till you go to the register. Then even when you're at the register and the person, you put it all in the conveyor thing and they say $500, Can you just walk out the store? Will you get arrested? Nope. Right? That's how I look at writing offers. Write the offer. It costs you nothing.
It's true.
It's free.
You don't know until you know.
You're right. Then they're either gonna go yes or no or maybe. What if, like I said, initiation for a conversation? They're gonna go, well, it's a little low, but if there's a problem there, or they're gonna go, if you get out of here, next is a strategy. Okay, so but you'll never know unless you write that offer. And then what happens when you write an offer? Experience, confidence, right? Learning, right? Feedback. Like it's just a win altogether. There's no, like you don't lose for writing an offer, but we all put this mental block. What if?
That's true.
Right? So I need you to write that offer tomorrow. And if it's truly a good deal, and the numbers pan out, I will buy it. If you can't. Or someone, I guarantee, if you come to
That's true.
the fix and flip group and you go, hey everybody, I got this contract. There's about 50,000 spread of profit after expenses. There's gonna be a frenzy. I know it's less likely, right? Because you got to go through so many deals, but sometimes it happens.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, so now you got to get 33 houses. So it sounds like you have a little bit more experience. You know how to analyze, or you know how to find some deals and stuff. So you need to figure out what's the deal. Like, what kind of investor are you? We call it your investor identity. So if you watch Launchpad, watch it. It's like, what neighborhoods you want. Do you want condos? Do you want single families? Do you want multifamily, right?
2 to 4 plexes and single families.
Okay, so you want under 4 units,
Yeah.
which you can get a residential loan. So maybe you start with the house hacking idea. Young guy, live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3. Caleb did it. Locked into what? 2.9?
2.8.
Sorry. 2.8. And we were like, I remember when you bought the deal, you're grinding it down. We're like, chill, man. You don't need to get, like you got a 3, all right? You don't need to go to 2. But anyways, but she lives in 1, quit her job, all that stuff, man. Like, other 3, does the other 3 cover your, I don't know your numbers, but like.
The other 3 covers the mortgage and utilities. And all of that.
And I like
So
that.
you need for
Actually,
free.
2 of them covers all of it.
That's amazing.
So it's not for everybody, but like being younger and you don't have kids and all this stuff running around, so you could probably live in a 1 bedroom,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean, or a 2, whatever it is. You could even live in the 2 bedroom and have one of your buddies rent out the rooms in the second one.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's like now you're gonna get the experience of getting a loan, getting your credit checked, all that stuff, buying the house, going through the inspection. Then okay, I got to get tenants. All right, I got to qualify them. I got to put out some advertising. I got to figure out what they rent for, right? And then you got to collect the rent, and you got to tell people they're late. You get to go through that whole world for a year. Then after that year, you could rent out that one you're living in and go do it again
Yeah.
until you're ready to start launching and you're confident to buy houses on their own or multifamilies on their own.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So what can you do? So one, you got to check your credit. Do you know how to check your credit?
No.
Okay.
You can do it at your bank.
Your bank,
Do you have a
The bank does it?
It just
Yeah.
goes
Cool.
straight to Experian.
Or the banks give it to you every month for free. You don't even have to, every bank. Wells Fargo gives you your credit score, Chase gives you your credit score. They all give it to you.
I
There you
don't
go.
even have a credit though.
You have a social security number.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They'll still give you the information. They may tell you, oh, you don't have a credit score, but you have like $100, 100 points, so you need to do X, Y, Z. You can even go to the bank and they'll even help you figure out a budget. Banks will do a lot if you're a customer. So you can go to the bank and talk to them about it and say, which bank are you with?
BMO.
BMO?
BMO
I don't know,
has-
I think I just seen the ATMs out here, but you can go to BMO and call them and say, can you check my credit score? And
Or-
they'll give it to you.
Gotcha.
Or
Straight to Experian.
Yeah, Experian.com. There's Experian, TransUnion, and
Equifax.
Equifax.
Yeah, go straight to them, don't go through those other, credit karmas or any of that, don't deal with that.
Google, hey, how do I
Check my credit.
how do I check my credit? How do I get better credit? And just read 3 articles and you'll know enough. And then go to a loan officer, right? And then say, hey, I work part-time, I don't have credit, it's not bad, I just don't have it. What do I need to do? They'll pull your credit and they'll go, okay, how long you been part-time?
3 months.
3 months? So they're gonna say, did you have a job before that?
Not really.
Okay, so you're just gonna, basically all I'm saying is, you're gonna say, this is who I am, loan officer, and they're gonna go, in order for you to get a loan, you're gonna have to work for this amount of time, try to make at least this amount of money, and have this credit score. Now you got a plan. Now you just gotta work towards that plan,
Yeah.
right? So if you wanna go that house hack way, that's what you gotta do, unless you say, no, Mike, screw all that, I wanna borrow money from someone else. Then we
Might
can
be
talk-
able to do that with my mom. My
Okay.
parents,
All right,
so maybe.
Yeah, and then
There you go.
can still use an FHA loan because you can get a gift, it'll
They
be a
give you
gift.
the down payment.
So they give the down payment to you.
or you guys could be partners. So,
Yeah.
so,
If you're gonna do the house hacking, or anything,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
don't have to have, you don't, I think a lot of times they still want it to season just a little bit, but, and meaning stay in your bank account for a certain amount of time, but your parents can give you the money, and then they can cover your down payment.
and they can co-sign,
Mhm.
right? Like, so if you wanna do the house hack thing, or get a 3-4 unit, 5% down, they can co-sign. So loan officer, say, hey, talk to your parents, that's one, and a loan officer. Start doing whatever the loan officer says, and see what your parents are willing to do.
And then having you go into the loan officer and showing your parents what you're doing in the meantime, that's also impressive. Oh, you're not just waiting on us? No, I went to the loan officer, I told them these things, this is what they said, and this is how you could help me, you know?
Unless,
You're not just waiting for your parents, you're taking some steps,
Yeah.
proactive steps.
unless your parents are like, we'll just pay for the whole thing, then that's a different story. So, yeah, but until you got that, put in those baby steps, right, man? And yeah, I like what Michaela said. If you went to the loan officer, check your credit. This is where I need to be to get here. Would you guys want to participate in this with me? Right. So when you talk to a loan officer, say, hey, I might have a cosigner too, da da da, and they'll say, okay, this is what I need from them. So then when you present it to your parents, boom, they say yes, or whatever it is. Now you got the loan officer situation, you got your parents. Sometimes I think my wife Dominique just helped a member buy a house in Tempe. She didn't have a job. Her parents just had good enough credit and job history where they just co-signed and she got the house. So it's like, you just never know, depends on the bank. So you might not even have to go through this world of, you should do it anyways because you're young, you need to get your stuff together like in order so you can do it in the future.
Right.
But that could even be a possibility.
And then with
Gotcha,
that, can he use also some of the rent to qualify? Isn't that something
Yeah.
that is new? So I think that is 70% of the rent is qualifying income for the loan.
That's if you do a multifamily,
That's if you.
Yeah.
not just a regular single family.
Oh, but that's what he wants to do, like the move.
That's
Yeah.
like if I
Oh,
have
okay.
tenants,
Oh, and I'm just
right?
saying,
Mhm.
Yeah,
no, if you have a single family home and you have tenants, they're not going to qualify the rent.
It has to
If
be
you
a
have
multi,
a
yes.
duplex or triplex or a fourplex,
right.
they'll use that rent.
You can use up to 70% for that rent to
Gotcha.
qualify.
It's just like a win for you, man. Like then
Yeah.
you get all that going, come back, go to like the landlord, or Mondays are multifamily, whatever, next month, whenever it is, go to either the multifamily or buy and hold, IPO with Garrick. So, and just get in the world of, they're always talking about analyzing deals, tenant screening, and then you gotta figure out what is a deal. And then that's your next step. You're like, all right, everyone's in, I'm ready to move forward, I got the credit, I got the banking, whatever it is. Now what is a good deal to buy? And how do I know it's a good deal? What neighborhoods and, you know what I mean, what are rents, what's
Yeah.
my cash flow? Then you gotta understand the numbers and start learning that.
So I can learn that at like the multifamily
Yep.
meetings.
At least start asking questions, being around with other investors. Even on YouTube, I just put out 6 videos on how to buy your first rental. There's gonna be 8 of them, the other 2 ain't out yet. But even just stuff like that, or any other video you can watch, how to analyze rental properties. Just figure it out.
I think too, if you wanna be a landlord, just go into the landlord group before you become a landlord. Because you'll start listening to all of the issues that people have with tenants. You'll start to understand, Garrick is really strict with how he deals with his tenants and what he's doing. So it kinda gives you a little confidence, cause you might feel like, can I say that? Listen to
Yeah.
Garrick, he'll say it, you know, so
Gotcha.
you'll have that person that's giving you the example to say those different things. Cause even online, I don't really think they focus on really what it means to be a landlord as much as like AZREIA does, but, if you listen to Garrick, he'll talk about a lot of different things, so that way when you get your tenants, you're ready.
You know one thing he taught me, all these years, I never even thought about it. He calls it like lifestyle landlording. He has all his tenants leave or renew their lease on the same month. Because he has a bunch of rentals. So rather than people renewing, like if you have to turn it and you got to renovate it, get marketed, get new people in, he does it all in the same month of the year. So it doesn't interrupt his lifestyle. So if he has a vacation, he's not like, oh man, I got 2 tenants leaving this month.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool. Like stuff like that you'll pick up, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, I still learn it all the time. So you got something. You just bought your first rental property and now you need your second. Or I know you want to get your taxes in order and your bookkeeping, but it sounds like you already got it.
Yeah, my goal is 1 rental per year for the next couple years, but for me, it's just, that's my plan B for retirement.
Of course. Yep. Yeah, you got you and your husband, you got your career, you got everything going. Now it's like, hey, buy 1 property a year.
One per year.
Nothing wrong with that. So I'm assuming you're gonna see how Cleveland goes. You'll probably when are you gonna start looking for the second one?
Once this one is kind of like established, and then I have more funds, so once I
What-
need to save a little bit.
What's established mean to you?
So once the property is rented,
Okay.
once I see how the property management is going, how they're handling, because this is the first time that somebody else is going to handle the house. I'm
Got
used to the short term where I was handling everything, screening like the renters, handling the cleaning people, the maintenance guy. So this is the first time that somebody else is doing that. So now I need to learn how to manage the property management, like you guys were telling me. I feel that once that's settled, I want to have a little bit more of reserves, just to be on the safe. And then I would say that goal would be like maybe mid next year, start looking
Okay.
for that property for
So
number
mid next
2.
year, you're gonna look for number 2.
Mhm.
You'll have experience and some learning lessons and some wins, and then you'll even know if you like the neighborhood, all that stuff. So
If I even like the market too.
and you'll be saving money, is what you're
Yes.
saying, for down because you'll probably another 25% for the next one. I'm assuming you'll probably go turnkey again.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. So
I might get risky and get Michaela's, no, I'm not. I don't know, that freaks me out.
Everything we come across is not something that you gotta gut.
Yeah.
So sometimes you come across things that are in good, decent condition, where you may have to put maybe 30,000, 40, I mean, think about that market, cause you just want it to be a rental. You
Yeah.
already have a property management company, what's wrong with that property management company managing a new one? It doesn't have to be through your organization, but you already have the relationship
Yeah.
if they work out. So, yes, the one that we're sharing is, low, but if you give me the zip code and the area, then we can just start keep an eye out. Like, you might see something even sooner, because really the market out there is different, you
Yeah.
know? So,
It's very
it-
flat.
well, in terms of appreciation, yeah, but I think, maybe 3 months ago, they said that they're taking one area and they're revamping this whole community. So what's going to happen within the next 5 years? They're gonna take a building and, gut it and turn it into a, shopping center, you know, living, you know, like what they're doing in Detroit, yeah.
Everything.
So, and also too, like, just, like, if you give me the zip code for where you are currently, I can just keep an eye out. Oh, I see something here in this area, or we got a call, cause it might, you know, depending on how long, it might not be a year. You might find something a little bit cheaper than even with your organization, cause I'm pretty sure they're getting a cut, whoever's doing the turnkey,
Yeah.
so you can cut them out completely.
So have you been to the property in there? So this is all remotely,
Oh.
but yet, do you have people there that showed it to you, like, through
Yeah.
video?
So I went, like, it's like a turnkey, and they do everything, so the realtor, they have the property management, they have everything. And then they just, like, walk you through the process, and I wanted like turnkey because I'm here, I'm not there, I have a busy career. So, yeah, they show me, they show you like, you will rent for this is what, so they kind of like walk you in the process, but you pay for that.
Mhm.
So you pay a little bit more for that turnkey, for everything ready for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I highly recommend. When I went Midwest, I went for the junkers. Got through it, but it's a process, right? You're talking 3 to 6 months of renovating, winter, getting it rented. So so there's a lot there. So when you're new, I would definitely recommend doing what you're doing, turnkey.
And that's because also what you say, Mike, I had to feel comfortable with my personality. I'm very safe. And I'm like the W-2 mentality that is struggling now to get out of that mindset to more the investor. But my comfort level is safety. That's who I am. So for me, I had to start little, and then as I start feeling more confident, as I know more, then I know I will take bigger risks.
So how do you know how do you tell yourself you're more confident? How do you know?
So once once I do something and see the outcome, because you can,
Mhm.
what I'm learning is I read a lot, I watch a lot, but one thing is that and the other thing is action,
Yeah.
So, for example, when they say, when I was running my numbers, it's something simple, insurance. I got one number that's what I was seeing in Zillow, everything else, but when I got my real quote, that number was way off. So
Okay.
then I had to call like 3 different places, and I got it a little bit down, but it was not the same number that I was seeing in paper, or the real number is different than that.
So the group that you're in, is it like an online group where you just log in, talk to people, chat, whatever? That are they in Cleveland too?
So yeah, so the group is called Real Wealth, and they are in California, and they are like Californian investors that they have better other markets.
Okay.
So then you talk with that first group, and then they have like 6, 7, 8 markets, and then you talk with like kind of like a consultant, and they tell you, hey, what are your goals? So then they kind of like show you the different markets
So-
and the different options.
So what I'm getting at is because you're saying you have your plan, which sounds good. So continue that. So it's the confidence, because once you have more confidence, you'll move faster. You're gonna be like, oh, why am I gonna wait? You're gonna get to a point where you're like, why am I gonna wait a year to buy one more? I'm gonna figure out how to get the money rather than saving it every day. So
But I'm not there. And like, for example, I have access to money that is not mine. I just don't feel confident managing that.
So that's what we need to work on for you then. How do you know you're confident?
Once I do it by myself and I see some sort of success.
It's okay to do things with people, especially if they're mentors and coaches and helping you, right? So, so how can you? I'm thinking you need to like run more properties. Like when we do the comping class, it's always the homework is leave here and comp 50 properties, even if they're just on MLS,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna buy them. You're not gonna, because if you go on MLS and properties for sale for 200,000, you comp it out and it's 180. You can call the agent and be like, hey, I'm curious about this house. I'm running my numbers. I think it's around 180. Why is it 200? And the agent's going to go, well, they're going to break it down for you. They're either to say some fluff, or they're going to be like, well, did you know about this? Did you know about that? It has this, it has that. And you go, oh, I didn't know you could take that into consideration. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is comp 50 rentals,
Yeah.
value and rent. Now because that was one of your sticking points, was once I run my numbers. So I was saying work on the things that you're not confident in over these next 6 months. And then you said you already have access to money. So it sounds like you could actually probably buy your next property now. But you're telling yourself you can't.
Yes.
Okay. So we got to build that confidence. Because
Yes.
you just did it. Like you
Yes.
did it.
Yes.
And you're still here.
Like, I've been doing so. All this is camping number, like just properties. Like properties in the same, that's what I do, like in my break, I'm just like, oh, let me run the numbers, because I'm trying to work on that.
Here's what we're gonna do. Whoever you choose in your property management, like you're gonna do your interview tomorrow, Monday, you're gonna get all the questions answered, say you're like, okay, I love this company. Part of our relationship, because say I wanna grow and I want more rentals and I'm excited to work with you guys and I wanna continue that relationship, because you don't have to bring your next rental to them. You probably would, because if you like them.
Yeah.
I just have a favor for, would you double look, if I'm interested in a property, would you, if I comped it out, the value and the rents, and I sent it to you via email, at your pace, can you give me feedback on my results? So now you have that professional in that neighborhood, in that city, and maybe once a week, pick out a property, comp it, analyze it, send your numbers to them and see what they say.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna go like this. When I was in Cleveland, I was like, that was funny, this guy Austin brought me a property he was working on. It was on this property on Rugby, smoking deal, had the contract already, called my property manager, and he goes, Mike, if there's one street in the entire city of Phoenix
That
I would not even walk down, it's that street. And I'm like, I got this deal. Like ready to, like if I didn't make that call,
Mhm.
but what I found out was the guy who wrote Superman wrote it on that street when he grew up or whatever.
really?
It was funny, stupid, but anyways, you get what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
they're there for you. They're your team. Like you're doing business with them. Like you're like, hey, I'm excited. I'm gonna do more, and they want to be a part of that success. So hey, once a month, twice a month, once a week, can I send you a property that I comped and just build that confidence? Because what's gonna start happening is they're gonna go, you got it, you got it, you got it. And you're gonna be like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to get to that point.
And that's what I'm working on, and I know the issue is me, it's just I had to work in me, I had to work in it just, and I need those baby steps first, and I told you with a short term what happened, and so that's kind of like, okay, I need to go past that, and then little by little, just have that goal and just work on that confidence.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I don't need 33, I'm happy with 5 to 10 houses.
Yeah,
That's the
don't even,
goal.
we're not comparing here. We just want you to get you to the next one
Yes,
confidently, and not to rush you, but doing it at your own pace, but not hold yourself back because you're telling yourself you don't know how to do it when you really do.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to avoid, is that piece.
Yes,
It was, when you said that, it just made me think about, this was when I first joined AZREIA, maybe back in 2019, I used to be at the Celebrity Theater, and they had a panel, and on the panel, there was a woman who bought one property a year. And I think by the time she retired, she had like 40-something properties. So think about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
She just kept working. She
Mhm.
didn't, like go out and try and be this, but she did one a year. I'm like, dang. So by the time she retired, some of those had already been paid off,
Mhm.
and then she was still probably paying on like the most recent ones. But I was thinking she could have retired earlier.
No, there's
But
no
still
right or
she
wrong
did
way.
it. Yeah, no, but I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, when you mentioned one a year, it made me think of that woman. She was on the panel, everybody was like, what, one? And she said, every year. I just found one a year, and she just kept doing it. She had so many by the time she retired. So that's like something that's really impressive.
Yeah, there's no right or way,
So
right,
think
wrong way.
about all of those early ones that she bought, that's all paid
Paid
off.
yeah.
She's just getting rent every month.
Because that's the thing, like my job is, I'm very fulfilled by my job. So
Mhm.
that's the positive thing, is like, I love what I do, I'm happy with my job, I feel I make a difference. It's just that for some reason, this other side of me is waking up and it's like, okay, I had
It's
that.
calling.
Yes, it's calling. And you know what did it? So it was so it was two things. So during COVID, I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm in healthcare. I went in healthcare because it's safe. It's like you always have a job. You get tired one place, you go to the next. We always have jobs. But during COVID, I'm in pediatrics. I transferred from the big hospital to private practice, and then 3 months later, COVID happened. And all my friends, all my nurse practitioners got fired from the big hospital because
Whoa.
in peds,
COVID didn't hit as bad. So then peds had like, the hospitals were like no patients because there were no pediatrics patients getting sick. So that was the first time that I was like, you know what? I'm not as safe as I thought. I'm not as
Whoa.
secure. Like all this time where I was thinking that I was secure, that I was safe, that I was going to retire in my job, that made me think about it.
Wow.
And then the other thing is, so I have my rich mom and my poor dad, so they are divorced. But my dad, he's an engineer, and all his life he was like in a W-2 engineer. My mom, she's an entrepreneur in Colombia, so she owns her own business. She owns like apartments, and she rents like businesses, and she's like really smart. So the way that they both retire is just so different. So I always was like, I'm going to be like my dad. I see my mom struggling with like employees and all this. So they are both, my mom is 68, my dad is 70. My dad got cancer 10 years ago, and he was not able to retire because of cancer. So then he survived, he went back to work, they fired him. So he never was able to retire, and that shifted his identity because he was always the engineer. Then my mom, she's always like the business person, and now my mom, she's never going to retire, but she's like, she just told me, she's like, in April I'm going 1 month to Europe. I'm just remodeling this apartment. I just rented this business. I just bought another like truck for this other business. And her quality of life now that she's old is like 10 times better than my dad. That was like the worker. So just seeing those two things, I was just like, you know what? I can have both worlds. I have a job that I like, but I need to have other source of incomes where if something happened here, I'm like, you know what, I'm fine. I can
It's
live from my rentals.
The more streams of income you have, the more financially healthy you are.
And that's why I'm not always, when I was younger, I would have learned more from my mom because she's in Colombia, I'm here. So I was always like, Mom, why you do that? Why you deal with employees? Why you deal with business? Like, and then I was like, Dad, you're so smart. You get your paycheck every month. And now I'm like, wow, they retire so different. Like, my dad is
story.
depressed.
Wow.
He's not active. My mom is like super active. She keeps working, and she keeps like telling me, she's like, oh, I'm doing this other business, and I'm buying this other apartment. And I'm like, I need to start listening to my mom.
So you're doing the hybrid model.
Yes.
Sounds
So,
like it.
so that's why I
That's
say
cool.
I have my poor dad, my rich mom, and I'm dealing with that shifting mentality because I'm seeing it firsthand. I'm seeing it like my dad got fired in the last years of his work life.
It's tough.
He didn't get to retire on his terms. My mom is never going to retire, but the lady's having fun. Like
Sounds like you got a book you can start writing.
Yes.
Titled My Rich Mom and My Poor Dad.
Yes.
All right, I want to keep going. Sorry to cut you off. So it's 8 o'clock.
So
So
sorry.
what you gonna do, man?
Like, what do you mean, like goals or?
Wholesale. You're wholesaling, right?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
I guess right now it's just, again, figuring like out different streams of income, so building capital. Eventually, I would like to get into, like owning properties, whether that be like single family, multifamily, maybe apartments, like commercial in the future, like, that's
Mhm.
kinda like the long general.
Why wouldn't you own property now?
Why wouldn't I? I guess I thought I wasn't ready to, and I wanted to like kind of build more capital first before I did that.
Okay, so one thing we do around here is like sometimes once again, some people go, I want to wholesale to make some money so I can flip, so I can make some bigger money, so I can buy my first rental. That might be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. People quit by then. So if you really want rentals, everything we just told him, it ain't no different.
Yeah, I guess I thought like I could just give it a shot, and
Okay. So what are you giving a shot at today?
today it would be like the wholesaling.
Wholesale. Okay, so let's start there then. So you want to get an assignment fee
Yeah,
at some point. So you're going around and you're seeing people blast out properties. You're just taking those properties and saying, hey, I'm gonna put my fee on top and find a buyer. Is that what you're trying to do right now?
like just helping a seller get rid of their house and then finding a buyer.
Like, what are you doing right now to find, to put yourself in a position to get an assignment fee? Like, is it JVing or going direct to homeowner?
Well, I guess I wanted to do direct to homeowner first, but this opportunity came up with JVing, so I just thought I would take the opportunity, just kind of figure out which one works, and if it didn't work, at least I tried. I would have tried like reaching out to realtors as well in the future. I didn't really have like a specific way of going about that, just wanted to see what worked best for me and
Got it.
go from there.
I'm just gonna cut you off. Okay, so you gotta come up with something. We gotta get you something to get you an assignment fee. So you can't it's not like I came across an opportunity. You get what I'm saying? I love your voice. He's so nonchalant. He's like, came across this opportunity. But who was it? Do you know who it was? Was it a friend or did you see it on the internet?
Well, I met, it was a wholesaler at one of the conferences in,
Okay.
like, earlier this year, and he reached out to me and
Good.
just asked if I was interested in an opportunity, so I said yes, and then.
Okay. Cool. So when it comes to JVing,
Yeah.
there's a million wholesalers out there that have contracts with homeowners. You can work with all of them. It's just not that one person that randomly called you 6 months later. It's still good. Take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you always just want to work, if you can, with the wholesaler that has the contract with the homeowner. If you're going the JV route,
Mhm.
right? Then you say, hey, can I move that deal? How do I get paid? Are they going to pay you within their fee, or do you got to add your fee on top? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
then commit to one that you think looks like a good deal, and then go try to move it. There's 1,000 wholesalers out here. They're all in these rooms everywhere. You just got to find one or two wholesalers, 3 wholesalers that you like, that you know, you trust, and that they'll communicate with you, and you can try to move their deal. So if you want to JV, or do you want to go direct to seller?
I was open to that,
Okay, do you have a budget?
a budget meaning like.
Money to do it,
assignment
like
fee, Or like, how much.
cold calling, direct mail, texting, door knocking, gas, all that?
I was gonna do like the cold calling route, maybe try for dollars.
Got it.
You can go call me on Saturday, I'll be here.
All right, there you go. So what I'm saying is, I just want to start narrowing down. Like, I want to give you gotta have some type of. You don't have to have 10 different marketing channels. We just gotta get you 1 or 2. You're gonna be like, hey, for the next week, 2 weeks, I'm gonna go knock on X amount of doors. I'm gonna get the foreclosure list, and I'm gonna knock on X amount of doors. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta get you some type of plan to follow and actually do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's like what I was struggling with, just trying to figure out if I should do, like, finding a cash buyers list first, or reach out to sellers first, and then I guess I was kind of putting that on hold just to figure out what I want to do first, and then that opportunity came up, so then I just said, I'm starting to think now maybe my route would be just to go find buyers first, and then see what they want, and then go look for those deals.
so I'm gonna help you out. So it's 8 o'clock. I know you guys don't. If you guys don't want, we can go or whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Thanks for being here, but I'm gonna get you something that you can work with.
Sure.
Mike,
Before you go.
thank you so much.
All right. All right. Thanks for being here. I think we just got up to our multifamily on Monday, but then we're off for the rest of the month. In January, our full schedule's back at it. So
And
thanks
I
for
will
being
see
here.
you The first Saturday with Mia.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Awesome.
For that game.
So let's get you something that you got to do, man. All right, thanks for being here. This is the beginners group. We do this on the second Thursday of every month. So come down to the office, go to AZREIA.org/calendar, check out our events. Have a good night.